July 2nd, 2025 TTAC committee. We'll turn it over to James for roll call.
Good morning. Welcome to state fiscal year 2026. I'll read the roll and please let us know if you're here. Ty Adley, City of Plymouth.
Here.
Leslie B, City of South Bend. Thought I saw Leslie join virtually. All right. Chris Dressel, City of South Bend. Bill Holder, Kosciuszko County.
I'm here.
All right. Thanks, Bill. Gotcha. Tim Jackson,
Here.
Elkhart County. Chris Jamrose, City of Mishawaka.
Here.
John Pine. Chris Kubasek, Transpo. Andrew Lund, City of Goshen.
Here.
Marsha McSherry, Kosciuszko County. Sky Metter, St. Joe County. Steve Moriarty, Kosciuszko County. Jason Peters, Marshall County. Jeff Schaefer, City of Elkhart. Lisa Schrader, NDOT LaPorte.
Melody Panos is here for Lisa.
Hey, Melody.
Hi.
Derek Spears, City of Mishawaka.
Here.
Justin Taylor, City of Warsaw. Mike Daigle, South Bend International Airport.
Here.
Brent Warren, City of Napanee.
Here.
Natasha Weisenbeck, Elkhart County. Nicholas Whitwer, Marshall County. And Matt Yarin, NDOT Fort Wayne.
No.
Thanks. Welcome.
This is Leslie Beek. I'm also here. Had some
All right,
trouble.
got you, Leslie.
All right, thanks.
Yep. All right. We have a quorum of members present. We would only be voting in person though today.
You should all have a copy of the June 4th, 2025 meeting minutes. There are no questions on those or corrections. We're looking for a motion to approve. To move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those of approving the minutes from the June 4th meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes have been approved. There is no chairman report. We'll turn it over to James for the secretary report.
Yeah, so in your packet, you have all of the June modifications. These are items that have changed based on the authority that the TTAC and the policy board have given staff to make changes to between meetings. These typically are minor corrections, moving certain fiscal years, but you can see that entire listing in your packet, as well as it is available to the public online. This is presented for informational purposes only and does not require an action.
Thank you, James. Any old business?
There's no old business today, only the new business.
Okay, we'll go into new business and we'll turn it over to Kelsey for our transportation resolution.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Wednesday. We have one transportation resolution, 26-25. There are parts A through D, which are all NDOT initiated intersection improvements. The action for each is adding the projects. Just to note that these items are considered provisional for the time being. There are alternatives being considered for each and may be subject to change. So item A is located on US 20 at Tulip Road, about 5 miles west of US 31. Item B is an intersection improvement located on US 20 at Smilax Road, 5.8 miles west of US 31. Item C is located on State Road 2 at Timothy Road, 4.2 miles east of US 20. And item D is located on State Route 2 at Tulip Road, 8 miles east of US 20. So are there any questions?
Is this all to do with the battery factory and everything else that's going on out there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a significant amount of development, probably more so Amazon data centers that are going out there, as well as then the GM facility. NDOT is doing a study on US 20 or 202 to just try and figure out things long term. I think these are looking at interim solutions to improve safety and traffic flow out there in kind of a more systematic way. There was a previous location that already had been approved on this corridor.
Might have been a couple.
Yeah.
So you're at Twin Plains.
Quince, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. So it's all kind of interrelated. It does say other intersection improvement that tends to lend itself towards, a reduced conflict intersection, J-turn, something along those lines. But obviously, it's still fairly early. These projects are looking at construction in 29. So, it's a interim solution, but still a few years down the road. We'll see how those projects develop.
Thank you.
Can I ask a silly question?
No silly questions.
I apologize, my first meeting. So if I look at each of these, looking at phase A, it says the estimated cost complete is 3.4.
Correct.
When I add the funds above that, that come out to 3.4 million.
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah. So right now,
Multiple years of funding.
yeah, correct. Right now, they're adding in a particular phase. So you'll see that the phase says PE, which is preliminary engineering. So right now, they're just adding in the engineering. They may not have identified where the construction funds are coming from, or in this case, the construction funds might be outside of the current fiscal years that are available in the transportation improvement plan. So that plan right now only goes to 28. So it's as if 29 and 30 don't exist, right? Now we know they're coming, and we're actually in between those two documents. So we're updating it, and we've already done that. We're just waiting on the state. I'll give a little bit of an update on that in a sec. But so those future fiscal years, like 29 for construction, just aren't a part of the document's purview. And most likely, they might not anticipate lots of right of way, and so that's why you don't see that phase in there. So,
Thank you very much.
absolutely.
Any other questions? If not, we'll look for a motion to approve transportation resolution 2625.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Transportation resolution 2625 has been approved.
Just real quick, since I touched on it, it's kind of a lighter agenda as we're in that weird space right now, as we have developed the transportation improvement program. It looks out every 5 years. Every 2 years, the entire state, each of the metropolitan planning organizations like MACOG, as well as the state, do an entire update to that document, and we reset the years. So we're moving from the 24 to 28 transportation improvement programs into the 26 to 2030 transportation improvement program. MACOG's submittal was in the May timeframe to the state. The state then usually is a little bit lagging behind us. They have completed their public involvement, I believe. They've submitted their draft STIP to Federal Highway, and initial signs point to things being good. We've all lived through times where there have been larger hiccups and the challenges that can create for all of your projects, but it seems like things look all right for the state and the STIP. So we should be hopefully receiving some sort of approval letter in the July-ish timeframe that would make that document final. And so right now you really only see those things come through on the agenda that need to be modified in the old document. And so that's why we have a little bit of a lighter agenda, but we'll keep you up to date as the state works through its STIP process. And if there are any fun hiccups, changes, or things that you need to be made aware of as we wait for those approvals. So hopefully all goes well.
Thank you, James. We can move into staff updates.
I was like, is that mine? Good morning, all. I think either last week or the week before, INDOT released their final Propel US 30, US 31 studies. So I know we've talked about these a couple of times over the past few years. You can see it started about 3 years ago in the summer of 2022. And this really kind of sets up a plan for alternatives that could be investigated in future years for kind of actual implementation along these corridors. Includes goals, purpose and need, and then a large portion of it also looks at the kind of level 3 alternatives. And so in this final report, they made some revisions to the level 3 alternatives that were announced back in the fall. One of those was in the West Plymouth section. They had changed the intersection of Union Road. The overpass was replaced with an interchange to account for more of the traffic to the college. And so that was one change that's been made to those alternatives. And then the other item that was modified since the fall was in Warsaw. There's a freeway alternative, was updated to include local service roads in that section between Old US 30 and County Road 250 East. So those were some of the changes. There will be, I think, 2 more kind of informal community hours that will be held in Pearson on July 15th at the public library from 12 to 2, as well as one in Plymouth on July 8th from 4 to 7. So if you're wanting to kind of go over more of the report in detail or ask any additional questions, those will be open. And they also have kind of a virtual office hours on their website, as well as a pretty decent kind of interactive map so that you can look at what those final alternatives were that are planned to be carried forward at each of these intersections. So I just want to make you aware that it's complete. But yeah, happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Gosh.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Raj.
As everyone know, we are developing a travel demand model. We are in process with that, with Cambridge Systematics, and currently we are in the stage of data gathering, data cleaning, and therefore we are purchasing a locus consultant. It's basically to validate and calibrate the travel demand model data. So what it covers is the geographic boundary of course, the MACOG region and the NATS area. It will be having the data for 2024. It has all the counties included. The geographies included, it's like census blocks, census tracts, and TAC's boundary, which is traffic analysis zone for our MACOG region. It includes the modes for motor, walking, biking, car, and trucks. In trucks, it includes light, medium, and heavy trucks, and which will give access to platform and also the data for 2024 for 4 quarters. So this product includes 2 features. One is locus person, and the other is locus truck. Locus person basically focus more on people's trips, and the truck, of course, focuses on the truck. So this is how the platform would look like for the locus truck. As you can see, this is all not this part. This is covered in the product. That's the travel demand area for travel demand model area for our region. So which will include the vehicle class percentage, like how many of the light duty, medium and heavy trucks that will travel, and time of the day, location, trip and type, trip length, trip duration, and etc. So this is basically origin destination data. So it will let us know like from one census tract to other census tract how many trucks have been traveling, like including all the variables. Same as the locus person, which will include almost the same variables like travel mode, how many of the walking, biking, purpose of the trip, like is it like home to work, work to school, time of the day, community type includes like a low income, medium income, high income, trip length, residency status, and trip end type. It's basically if it's like within the region, so it's internal. If it's outside the region, it's like internal to external. So all of the data will be included in the platform, and it will give access to us for a year, I believe so. Yeah.
So you might ask yourself, what does this mean? Right. But so as Raj mentioned, first, this is a large data set, big data set that we use to calibrate our travel demand model. So when you're looking at projects and you're trying to figure out future levels of service and how, you know, traffic may or may not work out to 2050 or something when you're designing a roadway, this data helps support that model that will help try and do some predictive analysis of future conditions. Also, though, what we're able to do with it is we're able to do some data visualization and analysis on existing conditions. So say you are really interested, and we've done it before with large data sets like this, where the question was asked in Warsaw, on US 30, what type of traffic is there? Is it local traffic? Is it through traffic? Is it traffic that starts in and around Warsaw and leaves? Is it traffic that ends in Warsaw? You know, can you tell us the dynamics of US 30? And we can tell you that, you know, is 20% this, 40% that, right? And give some generalization so that decision makers have an idea of the type of travel that's out there. Or if we're trying to figure out, you know, kind of some visualization of where our freight movements are predominant, where they are headed, those kind of things. This is a very large data set that can help with that. So we have a number of intended uses that we plan to use it for the next year, but we want to make you aware of it so that if you have any particular transportation related questions that you've been dying to get answered or visualized, that we could have a conversation and we might be able to use this data set for those purposes. So wanted to make you aware on the back end that you will benefit from it because of the travel demand model, which many of you use when you start to develop your projects. But if you have any particular other requests that you might have, doesn't have to be now, just wanted to put it in the back of your mind so that as you know, the next 12 months unfold, if you go, oh, that'd be a really interesting use of trying to understand, we're having this challenge with this particular area, and we're trying to figure out, you know, insert question X. So we wanted to make you aware that we do have this data set. We have it available for a 12-month subscription. And just wanted to make sure that you're aware of it.
It was gathered when?
It's 2024.
Yep.
Yep.
The whole year or just a?
Yeah, the whole year.
Yeah.
On it down?
Yeah.
It is.
May I ask the locus person, do you know where that data comes from?
It's census information.
Yeah,
It's all
it's census
census
information,
information.
traffic counts, and this is some anonymous sources as well. So,
How does it verify if somebody is in a vehicle in Warsaw who's going to Plymouth and spends a day and then returns? How does that get categorized as local? Does it give you that kind of data?
yes, definitely. It gives it first comes as like it will be a local internal trip because it's from Warsaw to Plymouth. So it's within the MACOG region, so it will be considered internal to internal in terms of travel demand perspective. And in terms of like, it will answer the like type of the purpose of the visit, like it's like home to home or home to work or work to other, something like that. So yes.
Is there a location where we can learn more about the data of this?
I'm sorry.
Is there a location we can go look to learn more about what this?
Yes, so it won't be like particular to the location, let's say to the city of Mishwaka Hall, but it will be like for the entire census tract or the TAC boundary. So yeah, we can see, like say it's here, we can see for the entire census tract or the block group.
We can send out some information as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we understand the data, then we may be able to use it differently than what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm sure there's a primer or whatnot that Cambridge might have that we could send out so that folks are aware.
Yeah.
Like a little one pager or something. Yep.
Thank you.
Great.
Any other questions? Thank you, Raj.
Thank you.
Thanks, Raj.
Just a reminder that our quarterly tracking and review meetings are next week. So I'll have a chance to meet with INDOT, the consultants, and many of you to discuss projects. It's a beginning of a new fiscal year, so good chance to make sure that kind of our projects are on schedule, and yeah, looking forward to talking through those next week. And then I did have one other item that didn't necessarily make it to the agenda because we'd received requests after that went out, but INDOT's working on their statewide corridor planning study, their SCPS, which
Just rolls off the tongue.
yeah, not a very good
No.
which are shown here, the corridors that they're studying currently within that plan. And they had put out a request for any sort of imminent development that would be happening within 3 miles of these corridors. And so we'll obviously kind of follow up with you to see if we have captured everything, but thought you all would be a good group to kind of highlight. They're looking for any sort of large scale residential developments, including kind of number of households, and then expected completion time, as well as new major development in commercial, office, industrial, or university areas. I think they're wanting to collect this by the end of the month, so it'll be a pretty quick timeline. But yeah, I wanted to mention that to you all. If you want to stick around after the meeting to highlight any kind of potential areas that we for sure need to highlight in this, we'd be happy to kind of capture that after the meeting, or we'll follow up with an email to make sure we've captured the appropriate development areas. So
Also kind of related to this, related but separate, INDOT has just kicked off its process to update its INDOT freight plan. This was last updated in 2023. So I don't think the new plan will come up for adoption until maybe Q1 of 2027, but throughout the next 12 months, they'll really be working on it. I am on it, as well as many other folks are on an INDOT Freight Advisory Committee. So we'll continue to provide you updates as that moves forward. I think one of the big things in the next quarter or so that you'll start to see is it sounded like they're going to have some sort of stakeholder survey. There was not much definition to what that meant. I expect a point and click kind of map that they might release. But wanted to make you aware that you'll start to see more information as that comes out from INDOT Central Office.
Thank you, Caleb. Privilege of the floor.
Do you have any knowledge of community crossings that's totally gone for this year? We were talking late fall, and then now we're just looking at next year, maybe.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything new offhand for community crossings. Obviously, community crossings got a little bit of an overhaul with the legislation this last year. And the biggest thing there is that there are a number of different transfers and things like that would happen. the way that community crossings worked is it really kind of worked in the rears, where they would make awards, then the money would come in, and then they'd do reimbursement. So if they were going to make a bunch of awards, say in July, in the summer, like they normally would, they wouldn't have collected all of that money. So it would have gotten into a tricky situation where in the beginning of 2026, when they have to make some transfers, they would not have had the money to have made those transfers because it would have already been committed to all these other projects. So that's really why they're trying to put it on pause and reshuffle and figure out how much money exactly they'll have. That's why we thought maybe a fall could happen as they start to get those receipts and start to understand their cash flow as they get close to that. I haven't heard anything that it would change at this point. We're just continuing to wait to see if there's any new information on that. It's not helpful for community crossings, but we have started to see some other grant programs move forward. And these are on the federal front, federal programs that had made awards, and those awards have just been caught up over the last 6 months, 12 months in grant agreement limbo. And so we, maybe 2 weeks ago, we were informed that our railroad crossing elimination grant for the Ash Road area, being able to look at an overpass or grade separation near Osceola, Ash Road, Lincoln Way, that is moving forward. It has been, it was on Secretary Duffy's list of 500 grants that needed to be released. And so that is moving forward. We're still waiting for the final paperwork. As is tradition with our federal friends, there's a press release and then there's a period of waiting for final paperwork. So we are waiting for that, but that will mean that hopefully here in this summer, we'll be releasing a request for proposals to move forward with selecting an engineering firm that would look at really the design options that are out in that corridor, working with the public to try and gain consensus around some alternatives that could work. Additionally, RAISE, which was build, which was RAISE, which was Tiger, which was, no, it's a grant program that's been around for a while. But we had received an award for looking at how we connect the trail system that runs on the Mishawaka Riverwalk into South Bend, up to Niles, how we connected that east to Elkhart, which would connect Elkhart system that goes to Maple Heart down to Goshen, Pumpkin Vine up to Shipshewana. It's like a 11 or 12 mile gap right now that we have, where if we connected that, we would have 60 plus miles of connected trail. So we have just been waiting because we've heard different things back and forth about trails and bike infrastructure and what will or won't be. But it seems like it has some positive movement right now. We've been hearing more from our contacts with Federal Highway that they're working on getting it on the new grant template and all those kind of things. So we hope that it also might be in a list in the next month or two of a few hundred grants that are being moved forward and released from their purgatories. So we're continuing to monitor those and see how they go. But those are the updates that we have regarding those different discretionary grants.
Thank you. Any public comment?
Yeah, my name is Ralph Spellbrain. I live a couple blocks from St. Joseph River on the east side of Elkhart. If you go east from Elkhart through Bristol, you go into York Township. It does not have a fire department, a library. A lot of Amish live there. Amish live in all 4 counties. So we have bicycles and buggies here. We've got the Indiana Toll Road, so that's about as contrasted as you could be. In February of 2023, I walked across Elkhart County on Saturday and a Monday, before and after Lincoln's birthday. Then the next weekend, I finished on President's Day. And then on October 13th of 2023, I took the South Shore to Hudson Lake and walked back to the airport. So I've walked across both Elkhart and St. Joseph counties at different times. I do want to point out that Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan are in the top half dozen in terms of road taxes. Indiana and Michigan have per gallon taxes as well as the sales tax. Governor Braun suggested possibly making some interstates toll roads. If Interstate 70 were to become a toll road, that would be taking us back 200 years. The national road was a toll road at one time. My mom and her sister both lived to be 89. They lived all their lives within 10 miles of the national road. And didn't become US 40 until after they were born. The numbers were assigned to federal highways in 1926. So next year's the centennial of the numbers on the federal highways. Thank you.
Thanks, Ralph.
Any other public comment? If not, we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Everyone wants to stick around? We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in August.